What happens when one of the world's most critical oil routes turns into a war zone, and global superpowers refuse to back down? Tonight, tensions in the Middle East are reaching a boiling point. Former U.S. President Donald Trump has rejected Iran's latest proposal to end the ongoing conflict, calling it not acceptable, and claiming Iran hasn't paid a big enough price for its actions over the last 47 years. Meanwhile, the Strait of Hormuz, a narrow waterway that carries nearly a fifth of the world's oil supply, is effectively under threat, with dozens of ships attacked, blocked, or stranded. And now, in a dramatic move, Trump has announced a plan to guide cargo ships through the danger zone, warning that any interference will be met with force. Is this a humanitarian mission, or the beginning of a larger military escalation? Let's break it all down. In a major development, Donald Trump has publicly rejected Iran's latest peace proposal, a move that could significantly delay any chances of ending the conflict. According to reports, Iran's proposal was delivered through Pakistani mediators and included several key demands: a complete withdrawal of U.S. forces from the region, the lifting of economic sanctions, an end to the U.S. naval blockade. However, there was one major issue. The proposal reportedly made no clear mention of Iran's nuclear program, which has been a central concern for the United States and its allies for years. For Trump, that omission appears to be a deal breaker. In his statement, he emphasized that Iran must face stronger consequences for what he described as decades of hostile actions. This response signals that negotiations are not just stalled, they may be collapsing entirely. At the center of this escalating conflict lies the Strait of Hormuz, one of the most strategically important waterways in the world. This narrow passage connects the Persian Gulf to the open ocean, and it serves as a critical route for global oil shipments. Roughly 20% of the world's oil supply passes through this strait every single day. Now imagine that route suddenly becoming unsafe. That's exactly what's happening. According to maritime monitoring groups, more than 40 separate incidents have been recorded since the conflict began. These include ships being attacked, vessels damaged by small armed boats, cargo ships forced to turn back. Even more alarming, around 20,000 seafarers are currently trapped on vessels that cannot safely leave the region. Many of these ships are running dangerously low on food and supplies. This is no longer just a military situation. It's a growing humanitarian crisis at sea. In response to the worsening situation, Donald Trump has announced a new plan aimed at securing safe passage for cargo ships. According to his statement, the United States will guide ships belonging to neutral countries, escort them through restricted waters, ensure they can continue global trade operations. Trump described the move as a humanitarian gesture, claiming it will benefit not just the U.S., but also Iran and the broader Middle East. But here's where things get complicated. He also issued a strong warning. Any attempt to interfere with these operations will be met forcefully. That single statement raises serious questions. Is this truly a humanitarian effort, or a strategic military move disguised as one? Because escorting ships through a war zone isn't just about protection, it's also about control. Let's be clear, this situation is extremely fragile. When military forces begin escorting ships through contested waters, the risk of confrontation increases dramatically. Here's why. Miscommunication risk. In a high-tension environment, even a small misunderstanding can escalate quickly. Close encounters at sea, warships, patrol boats, and armed groups operating in close proximity create a dangerous mix. Rules of engagement. If U.S. forces are authorized to respond forcefully, what exactly does that mean? And how quickly could that lead to a full-scale clash? Iran, on the other hand, may view these escorts as a violation of its sovereignty or a direct challenge to its influence in the region. That sets the stage for potential escalation. This isn't just a regional issue. The entire world is watching because the Strait of Hormuz plays a massive role in the global economy. If oil shipments are disrupted, fuel prices can skyrocket, global inflation can rise, supply chains can be affected. Countries that rely heavily on imported oil, including many in Asia and Europe, could feel the impact almost immediately. And it's not just oil. Other goods transported through the region are also at risk, creating a ripple effect across international trade. This is why even countries not directly involved in the conflict are deeply concerned. Let's go back to the negotiations. Peace talks between the U.S. and Iran have been fragile for years. This latest proposal was seen as a potential breakthrough, but it quickly fell apart. The main sticking points appear to be Iran wants sanctions lifted immediately. The U.S. wants strict limits on Iran's nuclear program. Both sides are unwilling to compromise on key issues. Without mutual concessions, negotiations hit a dead end. And now, with Trump rejecting the proposal outright, the chances of a quick resolution seem slim. So what comes next? There are a few possible scenarios. 1. Controlled de-escalation. Both sides step back, reduce tensions, and return to negotiations. 2. Prolonged standoff. The situation remains tense, with occasional incidents but no full-scale conflict. 3. Military escalation. A single confrontation spirals into a larger conflict involving multiple countries. Right now, the situation could go in any direction, and that uncertainty is what makes it so dangerous. At its core, this crisis is about more than just politics. It's about global security, economic stability, human lives. Thousands of sailors are stranded, major trade routes are under threat, and two powerful nations are locked in a high-stakes standoff. Trump's decision to reject Iran's proposal and move forward with ship escorts marks a turning point. Whether it leads to peace or further conflict remains to be seen. What do you think? Is this a necessary move to protect global trade or a step toward a larger conflict? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. And if you want more in-depth breakdowns of global events like this, make sure to subscribe and turn on notifications. Because the story is still unfolding and the world is watching.